Hey everybody, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris. I hope that you were off to a good start to your Friday. I can be heard. All right, our mic is good. So we are in a First Alert weather day. It really is today and tomorrow. First Alert Meteorologist Ella Dorsey and I are really looking through this data in real time as we speak. We believe that the First Alert is really going to be more for late tonight. So I think that most of today will be fine. It's late tonight when when the impact will really start to increase here across Metro Atlanta specifically, and then throughout the day on Saturday. So here is our high-resolution forecast model. This is starting at lunchtime today. I will point out that in the model that I'm showing you, it's not picking up on some isolated storms that are in the mountains right now. So if you are in the higher elevations of the mountains, I am seeing a few storms out there for you. They're not severe at the moment, but that'll remain possible throughout the rest of the morning and going into the afternoon. And then by 2 o'clock, we will see scattered storms start to pop up in all of North Georgia. The coverage around 2, 3 o'clock will be about 30%, so everybody won't get wet this afternoon, but there will be some spotty storms this afternoon. And what you're seeing now on the right-hand side of your screen, that's 10 o'clock tonight. So this is when we believe this heavier band of showers and storms will start to move into North Georgia. So this is really why we decided to first alert today was because of this band of storms moving in tonight. That coverage is going to go up to like 70% once that moves through. What we're debating right now and what we're trying to figure out with our models is exactly when that line will move in. It looked like that was going to be earlier in the day, closer to 7 o'clock, which would have impacted more of your plans, which is why we did the first alert. Now it's looking like it's closer to like 10 or 11 o'clock for Metro Atlanta. So it does look like this may come in a little bit later tonight. So if you're going out tonight, specifically driving home from work, there could be some spotty storms out there, but it won't be high coverage. And if you're going to see the Braves tonight, it does look like at least the first part of the game will be fine. We can't tell you exactly where these spotty storms are going to pop up, but around 7 o'clock, the coverage is still only about 30 or 40%. And then it looks like it's really after the Braves are done or toward the end of the game, as you can see on this map, when those storms will start to move in from the northwest. So if you're going to be out late tonight, like 10 o'clock or later, that is when you're going to see the higher chance of storms in Metro Atlanta. I will point out if you're in northwest Georgia, those storms are moving in closer to 8 o'clock this evening from Rome northwestward from Metro Atlanta around 10 o'clock tonight. So again, much of the day will be fine, just some spotty storms here or there with the higher threat, a higher coverage of rain coming in by 10 o'clock tonight. You can see on that model. Okay, so going into Saturday, we have a cold front that'll move through. So we'll see multiple waves of showers and storms moving through on Saturday. The first wave will be Saturday morning, going into Saturday afternoon. So this is really just rain late Saturday morning and into Saturday afternoon. And then once the cold front actually moves in on Saturday, this is going to be Saturday evening, we'll see a stronger line of storms start to move through. This line could also produce some isolated damaging winds on Saturday evening. So that's the actual front. Once that front passes us by Saturday evening, all of this will eventually move out, and it'll set the stage for drier weather going into Sunday. The other map I want to show you is our severe weather outlook for tonight. This is as these bigger storms start to move in later on tonight. I do want to point out that the stuff that pops up this afternoon, the random stuff that's going to be out there this afternoon, that could also be a bit on the strong side, but the highest chance of a severe storm would be tonight as this activity is moving in from Tennessee and Alabama and into northwest Georgia. So that orange that you see, that's where the highest chance of some damaging winds will be. It's around 8 o'clock this evening. And then as the storms are moving southeast and into Atlanta, we do think that they'll start to weaken. So we could still see some isolated damaging winds in Atlanta, but our risk for damaging winds in Metro Atlanta won't be as high is what you'll see in far northwest Georgia. But this map is just to say that isolated damaging winds will be possible just about everywhere. So keep that in mind again if you're going to be out and about. That risk higher in northwest Georgia around 8 and lower, but not 0 for Metro Atlanta, closer to 10 or 11 o'clock. So that's our severe weather risk for this evening. Again, tomorrow on Saturday, we'll reintroduce a chance of some damaging winds, mainly Saturday evening as that main line of storms moves through the region. So that's what we're looking at here with our first alert. Here's a look at first alert radar. This is what I meant when I was talking about those storms that were in the mountains. So if you're in Metro Atlanta, we're doing fine. We're not going to see any rain in Metro Atlanta until at least 2 o'clock this afternoon, and even then it'll be pretty spotty. But in the mountains, you're going to continue to see that, just these pop-up storms here or there throughout the course of the morning and afternoon. So watch out if you are further north in those higher elevations. We're going to keep you up to date on this forecast. Again, the first alert weather day is in effect for today, but it's really more for tonight, like late tonight for Metro Atlanta. So if you are going to be out this afternoon, there will be some random storms out there, but I think you'll be fine. It's tonight when that chance of storms will really start to increase closer to 10 or 11 o'clock. And Saturday is the day where you may just want to stay indoors. I know it's a lot going on. Kentucky Derby Saturday, Cinco de Mayo weekend, so I know a lot of you are going to be out and about. Saturday, it won't be a washout the entire day, but some rain late morning into the afternoon, and then again Saturday evening. So just make sure and have our first alert weather app downloaded so you can stay up to date on when that rain will fall with that specific timing. And then Sunday is going to be a much better day. Sunday will be completely dry, and then that'll set the stage for mostly sunny skies as we start next week, where cooler temperatures will also be in place. So I'll leave you with first alert radar. Of course, we'll have an updated forecast for you. I'll have that for you on Atlanta News First at noon. You can always find your forecast in the First Alert Weather app. We'll see you back here a bit later, but for now, here is Atlanta News First, Brooks Baptiste with the check of your headlines.
Wow. Now I've got to follow Rodney after he had such a great presentation. I don't know what to do. Rodney, thanks so much for that. We want to get you caught up on some of those stories that are making headlines in and around Atlanta. And you know what? We've been talking about the weather and what is going to happen likely today. And we want to make sure that you are prepared. We want to make sure that you are in the know about what is to come. Again, this is a First Alert Weather Day. And we want to make sure that you've got everything that you need to know to stay safe. And that also so that you can plan your weekend and actually have a good weekend despite the rain and the potential for the storms that might impact us. But right now, there are people in Rome that are dealing with the aftermath of the storms that they had to deal with last night. Atlanta News First Don Shipman is with the First Alert Breaking News Tracker, and Don has found a massive tree that came down.
We've noticed a number of homes still without power, and the damage, really, it is done. Take a look at this right here, because this massive tree uprooted, and with it, some concrete from the driveway, the tree toppling down on top of the house. And look at the brickwork right there, and you can see where there's a crack all the way from the roof line down to the foundation. It just gives you an indication of the force of this tree when it toppled over. We're on Beach Street right here, not too far from Riverside Park, just to give you some perspective. And throughout the morning, we've been canvassing the city, and this is what we've noticed. We've noticed those trees down across the road, power lines down as well. It really is dangerous in certain situations, and that's why a lot of roads are closed off. We talked with one woman whose home was destroyed.
It was shock, disbelief, really. I couldn't believe something like it happened here. It's literally inside the house. It crushed the AC and the furnace, and we've had this house. It was my great-great-grandmother's, and we've had it ever since. It's just been passed down, and now you see it.
And back here, up close, you can see the root system of this tree. It really is a massive tree, and it's not just this location. We've seen this in other locations throughout the city. Rome police saying widespread damage, asking that you stay off the roads if you can today, just so they can clean up. We're here in Rome. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, we can only hope for the best out there in that area, that they won't have to get around to of that and see that devastation out there as well. But of course, we'll keep you posted and let you know what happens as the day goes on and as the meteorologists continue to pinpoint the timing of when you can expect to see the rain and the potential for those storms in your area. Also this morning, something we want to bring to your attention, there's a federal judge's temporary protection of student visas that is set to expire tonight. This comes as the Trump administration has started reinstating records. But there are still a lot of questions about what this really means for those international students before that deadline. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond is live from the Richard B. Russell Federal Courthouse. She has more on what's happening here.
There are a lot of moving parts to this, and Atlanta Attorney Charles Cook is representing more than 100 international students, many of them from here in Georgia, who are fighting to stay in the country. Now, 2 weeks ago, a federal judge granted a temporary restraining order, allowing them to do just that. Now we are waiting to see what her next steps are. Last week, Judge Victoria Calvert then heard arguments for and against a more permanent ruling demanding the government to reinstate 133 student statuses on the SEVIS system that had been terminated in April. That decision could come as soon as today. Now, around the same time, the Trump administration changed course and said it would maintain or reactivate the records of students affected by the termination until ICE finalizes a policy that will govern those cancellations in the future. Now, Charles Cook said the students who had their visas revoked were not told why, and he says most of them did not commit any deportable offenses.
This is clearly part of what the administration is doing, attacking legal immigration. These are legal immigrants in the United States, doing what the law requires them to do. They are not deportable in any way, and yet the administration is going after them. That's tragic.
No one's entitled to a student visa. The press covers student visas like there's some sort of birthright. No, a student visa is like me inviting you into my home.
Now, ICE says they still retain the authority to revoke the registration of anyone who commits a crime, so it's still unclear what that might mean for any international students here in Georgia who might have been facing charges. From the federal courthouse in Atlanta, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
There is a celebration that is happening today for all of the bright students at Georgia Tech. It's a celebration of accomplishments. That first bachelor's commencement ceremony just began at 9 o'clock this morning, so about an hour ago. There's also one that's going to be happening this afternoon. The master's commencement ceremony is set for tomorrow morning, and then a new doctor's for all the PhD students, they had theirs yesterday. But if you are going to be out there near the McCamish Pavilion in the Midtown area, we do want to let you know that the traffic is probably going to be a bit crazy out there. So just something to keep in mind if that is where you need to be later today. All right, we want to end you with this because there is a new study that is looking at feelings about karma. The American Psychological Association learned how people feel about karma. Researchers heard from more than 2,000 people from the U.S., Singapore, and India, from religious and non-religious backgrounds, because sometimes that plays a factor into whether people really believe in karma and whatnot. 92% of people wrote about cheating partners, indebted friends, bullies, and lousy coworkers experiencing misfortune, while 59% wrote about how they were rewarded for their good deeds. So what are your thoughts? Is karma real? Is it something we have to think about? Or is it one of those things that you just say, yeah, whatever's going to happen is going to happen? I don't know. I always have my mixed thoughts about that, but I always say this is why it's good to be good to people, no matter the time of day, no matter how you're feeling, because you just never know if something will come back and get you. Well, let's take a live look outside on this Friday morning. We've been hearing from Rodney regarding how things are going to look later today, and obviously how things are going to look over the weekend regarding your weather. But at this live look at Truist Park, you can see that things look quite excellent out there. Looks like the perfect Friday. We know those changes are headed our way, and you'll have an update regarding the weather on Atlanta News First at noon. I also want to let you know that you can watch all of the coverage of your Atlanta Braves as they take on the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight. Our coverage is set to begin at 6:30. We're going to be going through all day long throughout the game and even after the game. And we're just hoping that they can come on and get that win. We think they can do it, but they are going up against the reigning champs, so we shall see what happens there. Make it a great Friday, and thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the First Alert Desk. Be good out there.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.